So we're getting ready for a photo shoot. And Scott, will you tell me that what you did to my camera again?
Oh, okay. So for your camera,
okay, I'm just letting people know that I am the nincompoop. Not really. Like, I don't like thinking about things while we're taking photos. I don't want to have to worry about all the apertures and numbers. So
I'll go through just the quick things I do for
and
your
this
camera.
is a Nikon. What is the kind?
This is a D7100.
And this
so
is,
it's getting older now.
yeah, it's a pretty old camera.
So this is a 50mm lens. So first thing I do is I take the lens off, I take a look and make sure there's no smudges on it. I turn it on then, and you had it set in manual before for taking pictures of paintings. So I press this button and I switched it to program P, which is, it's kind of a certain sort of aperture thing, but it's automatic, but you can then make things lighter or darker. When you press this...
Wait. This is Louis, a great artist who's on the first floor of our building, and he's going to be doing a live Twitch today. So we told him we know nothing about Twitch. We're too old. So we're exchanging numbers to exchange models. And I will give you information about Louis. I showed you his studio earlier in a video. He's a good artist. He studied in Italy.
Do I need a flex?
Yes, no, please. Yeah, no. Give people a taste of what they're gonna get, right?
Yeah. Is your number the 1918 at the end?
That's it.
Okay, so
Shoot me a text.
So I'm gonna go, maybe he's gonna give us his Twitch, whatever. He's doing a live stream today. So if you're interested, he does more finished. This is where we're gonna have Sabra. He does, you know, he's more refined, more ateliers type work. But hey, a lot of free info out there. It's really, why not check it out? Sorry, we got a little distracted by Louis.
So I switch this to P, which is it's easy mode. It's kind of automatic, but you can make changes. So over here, there's a plus or minus button. So when I press that down, up here, I can go minus. I can make the picture darker.
So that's how I'm going to be adjusting. So just to let people know that I'm going to constantly be looking at the photograph on the back of the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see, is it too light? Is it too dark?
So if you take a picture, just an automatic here.
Dummies.
It's doing an automatic exposure. And say we thought, okay, that's too dark. Then we would go here, and I turn this back dial. I press the button down, the plus or minus, and I go lighter.
Right.
So I'll go real light, so you can really see +2 stops. And then I can take another photograph, and you see how it's lightened that one up.
So that's how
Darker,
I adjust photos a lot, is that it's just the bare minimum. But the only thing to remember is that I have to constantly look at my photos, because if you just take them with mindlessly, like some really great photos might be blown out, and that's really sad when that happens.
Yeah.
So just wanted to tell people that I'm going to be using the Nikon, and I'm going to be doing kind of like just the most basic way of taking photos, and then you're going to be using your Canon.
And then the other things that I check is I do the ISO and the sensitivity here. So I press that button down, and I have Sue set for 1000, so that even if we're low light, she has enough. I could go down if we're shooting a painting. I would go down to 100, so you get the least amount of grain. But for her, I set it at 1000. This way, since she's in automatic and doing it handheld, she won't get shake, and it'll cause it to blur.
And we turned off these fluorescents right here that are going to be closest to the model, and that's why he put it at that 1000. So even if she has the spotlight on her, no matter what, right? I'm just going to have enough light.
Right. Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great.
We got Sue Light.
Oh wow! So how many people? How many people? You said you have models on Thursday night. How many people come and draw?
So I'm doing. Do you know who Jonathan Dockery is?
Jonathan Dockery.
Jonathan Dockery. Yes. Jonathan Dockery he's actually an excellent artist, and he does more like quick sketches, gestural and stuff with charcoal.
Where does he live?
Here. In fact, he had a place in the building, but he had some issues with like some
maybe I know him, but
he might have. He was here for like very briefly, but he brings about 3 students. I have 2, one of whom always forgets to come. Always forgets to show up. So
So Thursday
Goodbye.
nights, you have models
Yeah.
regularly, and you
Yes.
have a model over here in the corner, which is nice. You really do have it nicely set up, even though, I mean, your space is compact, but it's very artistic and very inviting.
See, over there, that's where
What?
you do the full figures, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's where you have
Check this out.
figure models.
And
That's where he does
we
like
have,
portraits. Still
there's
life.
not a lot of people, I just started.
Yeah.
But one of the guys, Queldar,
Oh, so you're doing an actual live stream right now, which I have
Yeah.
completely just crashed.
no, it's good. He said Susan's amazing.
Oh, that's sweet.
So this is it. And then we have, obviously, we have the,
Wow,
one second, let me do this.
you really take the time to kind of do it correctly.
Well, because you know how that goes, Susan. It's like,
Well, I'm a little
if you set it
lazier.
up wrong,
Yeah.
you're working on that painting, and then the entire painting for the rest
No,
of the
and
time,
it's nice to have a designated spot. So, like for me, I'm having to move stuff around a lot.
Definitely. Let me get this camera working. This thing's been bugging out.
Oh, look at how professional that is. So this is
Right?
Twitch.
This is Twitch, yeah. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to get this camera working again. For some reason, it's just kind of bugs out.
Well, I've kind of heard of
There we
it,
go.
but I'm out of the loop about.
Let's do this. I have an idea.
Oh, I see myself. That is
You
so
do,
fun.
but
I'm
that's
so
bugging
fun.
out. That's bugging out. So here's what we're going to do instead.
Isn't that funny how I'm like that ridiculous about it? Like,
what
oh,
we're
I
gonna
see
do.
myself.
I'm going to use this camera because I am very resourceful.
That's
and
really cool.
everybody there knows that I know what I'm doing all the time.
So how do people find you on Twitch? Do you have a special handle?
Yes, I just send it to you. It's just my name, Luis Guidetti.
Okay, all right,
And
so
Let me
perfect.
find, actually, I want you to stay here for a second because I know,
Oh, look at that. So he's got a little webcam. You can see comments so we can answer questions. This is his beautiful model, Sarah.
and she's a very good model. And
She
y'all
looks
need
it,
to,
yeah.
Y'all
There I
need
am.
to get her in. She's
Totally.
awesome. Where in the world? There it is.
Oh.
Lens, the camera lens. Let me put this on, and we're going to use this main camera right here. And I'll just switch it since that small
People
one's
want to know,
bugged
what
out.
camera is this?
This is a Canon M50. And you can see, and these are Sigma lenses, or lensi is plural.
Okay.
See? I know what I'm doing. We have, this one is,
You're
I
inspiring
totally
me
know
to
what
become
it
more techno savvy.
Scott should do that.
Well,
I asked him all
I
the
have to
questions.
like actually push him to do things, so he
Really?
won't do them unless, well, yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
See?
hi.
And I'm gonna actually set this on autofocus. Give me a second. You're gonna lose camera for a second. Used to this. And manual autofocus. There we go. There's autofocus. And
So did you learn all this watching YouTube videos, or how did you learn it?
Yes,
Okay,
and
isn't that the
asking-
best? Yeah.
I did most of it from YouTube, and then but with Scott, I asked him a lot of questions as well. And then a lot of this is trial and error because.
So are you standing all the way back here, or are you holding your palette?
So when I'm working, let me get this up, and I'm gonna get rid of this. That's not working. 1 second, and I'm gonna get rid
No
of.
stress. It even has this to block
that.
lights.
I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. There we go. So what I'm doing, I'm standing back. Like I think about right here.
Okay, for about 6 feet away.
Yeah, and so I'll look at, which obviously you can't do like site size. You do comparative measurements, and I'll go up here and look because every time.
So you have to step around your camera every time.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. You
It's
seem to
fun.
rig things up really well. Possibly if you rigged up a arm, like a boom arm from the wall,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't have to, and you could just use a cane to move it, and you wouldn't have to like actually step around. Just saying, because that
You
seems,
think I haven't thought of that?
well, because they're really
That would make
expensive.
it much easier.
You can get those from B&H for like 150 or less,
Really?
especially small ones. Yeah.
That would make too much sense for the stream to do, I think.
Well, I mean, we learn as we go. So I make a lot of mistakes, and then I'm just like, hey, people see it,
When
and
you come in here saying that it inspires you to be more technologically savvy, but you just came up with an idea that I didn't even think of that would
Oh,
make it
okay.
1,000 times easier for me.
Well,
to
good.
work.
No, believe me.
Because I'm literally dancing around that
You
little
are.
light there. You see how
Well, I just
tilted
want
it
people to
inside?
see how much work you put into this, giving them
It's a bit,
information. Like, so
yeah.
you're seriously trying to teach people how to paint
I
and
am.
all the stuff you've learned over 15, 20 years of painting. So you're putting a lot of effort into this.
It's the like academic approach, and then
Mhm.
you know it's essentially my studio work, because I said to myself, you know, and you know this better than anybody, because you and Scott are always like, you got to get out of here. Like, been in my studio, and you get weird, and you know this, but I
Become
said,
a recluse, yeah.
yeah, and so I said, well, why not put a camera on the work? Because there are a lot of people,
Sure.
like, when I was 18, 19, didn't know where to go. I think now it's a little bit more obvious, because like academies are well known,
Yeah.
more well known than they were at the time. But
Well, and
can, like,
sometimes some of
paint.
these online classes are so expensive,
oh yeah,
and they're just, I guess, getting people in the door, and then what happens is they might be there for a few months or half a year, and then they realize there's
Yes.
so much out there.
yes,
And so anyways, but I also love this table. This is so cool. Where'd you get this?
oh, this one,
Yeah, I like it.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember where I got that.
It's on wheels and it has multi-layers. I love it.
I
That's
don't
really
remember
good.
where we
I
got
know,
that.
sometimes we never, we
I remember this one. These you can get. These are like I forgot the name of the tables, but you can actually buy these still. These
oh
are
yeah, yeah.
good.
You can get these from like Uniline or all
Yeah,
kinds
exactly.
of stuff, yeah.
There you go. She
Hmm.
knows.
Well, cool.
But
So
yeah,
how long is your live stream usually?
the live stream normally, I mean, it varies. Normally, and guys, really quick, if y'all want to ask Sue Lyons questions, she knows better answers than
I don't
do.
know
I
anything.
bullshit y'all, and y'all know this at this point.
We're actually just in the basement, and our model is going to be a little bit late, so I thought I would come up and just crash his live stream,
Yes.
learn about Twitch.
She's
Awesome.
totally ruining the entire stream.
I know.
So if it goes wrong,
That's a beautiful painting. So, okay, tell me how long you've painted on that.
about 15 minutes.
No.
15 minutes.
Okay, no, I mean, you started before that.
I started 15 minutes ago, and that's no. It's been, I would say, about 3 or 4 sessions. It's been like probably
Okay.
close to 9 hours, I'm guessing.
No, I want people want to know that you just don't do these in like an hour and a half,
No.
2 hours like a lot of demos are.
And to be honest with you, it really depends. Like if you want to do an a la prima, you know, just a straight up painting.
Right.
That's how you have to say it. Is
Yeah.
you know, you can do those. I mean, it.
Do you
helps
teach
with
people how to
like
take
5 hours.
photographs of your models? Because that's a beautiful photo.
I did once on.
Well, I
stream.
think that's a great idea
Yeah.
because, you know, when people see how gorgeous that photo is,
That's a good
they're
photo.
just going to be like, whoa, they're going to salivate, right?
Yeah.
And so people need to know, like, how do they get really awesome photos like that? So
Yeah.
I think you should do a live stream about having your model here and like
Yeah.
just filming yourself kind of
Doing
the
that,
the
yeah.
lighting, yeah, like how long you take too. That I'm
Oh,
sure it's not like 10 minutes. You're taking multiple shots. And do you actually work on the photos in Photoshop?
Yes, I do. If they need to be like each individual one, like I
Yeah.
try to get you know, the lighting correct and
Sure.
get the.
But there's always some tweaking.
There's some tweaking. So if I take an like I know there's a batch way of like if say you shoot all the photos in light that's like too dark.
It's called an action.
It's an action. You see.
Yeah. I mean, Scott's really good at actions. I don't, but he'll set
ask
them
him
up
to
for
do
me
something
in
for you.
Photoshop so that it's always there. So
Right.
if you're doing everything under this particular lighting and it's always this lighting, and you know that you need to do a certain amount of little
Right.
things in Photoshop, it's called an action, that you then put the photo in, you go to actions, click play, and it goes beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
and it just does the same thing over and over. And you can do that for like a whole folder, like 100 photos, and you can just change all of them at once.
Right. Yeah, and so that's why I asked Scott stuff. In fact, right before we came up, and I have a question for you from Queldar, who's a real delinquent on this.
Oh my God, a
he's one of the
delinquent.
worst people ever. But I was just picking Scott's brain about cameras because you know he's like an encyclopedia, and so we're gonna have that conversation. But I'm gonna ask him about the actions because I had that issue. But
Right.
getting back to it, normally like if I'm working on one photograph, I'll tweak that one, and for whatever project, you know, I might adjust it a little bit.
Exactly.
And then make sure, because I keep on making this mistake, that when I transfer it over to the iPad, that the lighting is not too bright, because one of the problems I've had, and it kind of came out in one of my portraits, is that, and I should have known better, it lost the sense of light because it became too washed out.
Mm-hmm.
And I like keeping things a little bit darker and then having little
So are
highlights
you
that kind
telling
of
me
glow.
that it changes once you move it to the iPad?
Yeah, because the screens, like,
Yeah, okay.
the picture itself will stay the same, but
Right.
the screens, depending on how they're calibrated, and iPad, you have a brightness setting on it.
Right.
And so like that, it's like it'll remain like the same, but just
Right.
brighter, and you
That
can't
happens
get
to
it right,
us. Like
and-
we have multiple phones, multiple computers, and so an image will look different on
Right.
every computer. And Scott gets so angry because I'll always tell him when I'll see something on Instagram, I'll go, Scott, it's too dark,
Yeah.
or Scott, it's too this, and he goes, oh, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to maybe look at it on my computer first,
Right.
because your computer's tricking you
Yeah.
and thinking it's too light, and so you're making everything darker. And he just gets angry, and then he kind of gets frustrated. He's like, well, it looks different on everybody's
Yeah.
thing. And I'm like, okay, but no.
Yeah.
So it happens to everybody.
It does, and it can be frustrating. So Queldar is asking, he says, Susan, do you think academic style painting is the best or only way of painting?
No.
She said yes.
I think that people, it's probably best to learn academic painting and then you branch off, you know, because the idea is to learn the techniques and then figure out who you are different from your teachers, really. You want to learn how to paint from your teachers, and then as you get older, you have to change. You
Right.
have to just to make a variety of art so that the world is interested.
Yes, definitely. Okay, you're still there.
But no, we
That
all
is-
have to
that's a
learn
very
how to
good
draw.
answer.
And
Yeah.
if you don't, then you're always probably, I know a lot of people are handicapped,
Right.
you know, when they always wish that they learned how to draw a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But, you know, I know so many landscape artists who are like, God, I wish I had done more portraits or figurative. And then they get scared as they get older to go back. So,
Yes.
it's beautiful.
That's a very good answer. Could y'all hear that? I'm not sure here. I'm going to take this out because I keep on forgetting. That's a very good answer, actually. I agree with that. Because I agree, like,
Yeah.
academic's good. Like, you gotta learn the language, but you don't want to get stuck in student work
Yeah.
all the time. And not that academic is, but I think you
There's
know
an
that.
amazing amount of lighting that you put in the studio. Like, you literally have lighting for every single corner in case you need to paint in
Right.
that corner.
Right.
I kind of regret, I mean, I don't have that downstairs. My dream is to have a studio. See, I guess in funny, I have that dream as an image, as a beginner,
Right.
or I guess fantasy. Like, oh, if I only had the bigger studio. But you know, your studio's a little smaller than mine, but you have made it so it's usable. You're not using just the basic fluorescence like I am. This, like, you have still life, you have model, and you have work over in that corner, you have this. So you could be working on multiple, like you could be working on 4 different paintings at once.
It's kind of like the studio evolves into what you need it for
Yeah.
specific paintings. I had a wedding feast of Cana painting, which you might remember. It was like, it took me 5 years, and I would just sit and stare at it. Like, it took a long time. That's extreme. I'm not recommending somebody spend that long. That was kind of dumb, but it made me like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need something that enables me to do full figures for this. I can't
Right.
get away with the model staying set up, because you know how it is. If you're, especially like I used to be in just this section of the studio.
Oh my
here.
gosh, so your studio used to be just, it's pretty
This-
much like
area.
15 by,
Yeah,
and it's an odd shaped, it's
Right.
not square.
exactly. And so, but yeah.
And these would be your
let
doors
me-
right here.
Rob has a question for you. He says, Susan, because Rob's starting out in art, and he's starting to do some bar drawings and stuff just to get acclimated. He says, Susan, how important is drawing skills for painting? Is it like 90%?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially if you want to do figurative work. You know, landscape work, you don't need to know drawing that much, but figurative work, it is the hardest art form that you are going to go in. It's the most taxing, it's the most difficult, and that's why you know, landscapes are most popular. It's
Landscapes.
yeah, landscapes and then still life, and figurative is at the pyramid. It's at the top of the pyramid to like be able to do it. So
Yeah.
I do think that just practicing, training yourself to see shapes, and you know, it's kind of like muscle memory. You kind of just have to do it over and over, like scales in the piano.
Yeah. So does that make sense, guys? Drawing is extremely important, is what she's saying, for art. It's like,
Do you ever tell
Yeah.
them about that book, John Vanderpool, Drawing the Human Figure?
no.
Oh my God, it's my favorite book of
Yeah?
all time.
John Vanderpool. I bet you
Oh.
Quilt Art probably knows this. John
Yeah.
Vanderpool.
It was published in 1909. He was a famous drawing teacher from the Art Institute of Chicago, and he taught a lot of famous illustrators.
Okay.
And no, it's my favorite book. And if you can get an older version, like a lot of people can go on Amazon or eBay and find used versions, because the older versions
I'm just
have
following
better
the
plates.
camera swivels to you.
Oh, okay.
We're,
Oh.
we're trying to keep it.
Okay, I'm also trying
They
to keep
see me
it
too
interesting, so
much.
I'm not just standing in the same spot.
You're doing good.
So John Vanderpool, the drawing, it's the human figure, and it's small. You still get it, I think, from Dover Press, but just type that in, and if possible, get a used version, because it's the thing is that they've been making prints from newer plates, which means that sometimes as you print books, the reproductions aren't as good. So if you can get the older one, but it's my favorite drawing book of all time, and I recommend it to everybody. And I bet you if you saw it in person, you probably would go, oh, okay, I have seen that
Yeah.
before.
Definitely.
Well, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I want you to get back to drawing.
All right.
Hey, everybody. So happy you found Lewis. Yay. Bye.
Guys, hey. Susan, thank you for
Secret
stopping
door,
by.
the blackened door that people do not know the
It's
magic
very high
that's
tech.
behind.
Yeah, equipment right there.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
I just filmed Lewis's studio and we're waiting for our model. It's interesting because in our minds we realize that it's going to be a very laid back day, but in her mind she's like really nervous and stressed about it. And even though she's a performer, I think, I don't know, maybe I didn't impress on her enough to like not worry, but she's overthinking it and nervous about what does she bring, and she kept saying, oh, I'm about to leave, but then I didn't know what to bring, and I'm like, oh wow. So these are things that are so fascinating that we never really can understand what's going on in the other person's mind. Like for us, we do this all the time, but for her, she's not used to doing like a photo shoot. Even if she does performing, you know, for her, maybe she thinks that this is going to be a bigger deal than it is. So Scott's watching YouTube videos on how to work with cameras.
Actually, right now I'm just reading about Ukraine.
Uh-oh. Well, find some doggy videos to like to change the energy. And so I'm just chilling, just saying how like this is what happens. She is a very reliable model. It's just, I think when we told her photo shoot, I think she just got it into her head, which is so interesting.
And I can switch these on.
Scott has decided to make the room even more dark. It's not something you have to do in your own studio, because I'm wondering why we have to make it that dark.
It's just so that we can control the lighting. So if you want dark shadows, we'll have that light. If you want to add fill light, you can
Yeah,
just
but I
switch
mean,
on more.
can't we just make the shadows dark in Photoshop?
Well, you can work on things. Yeah, usually want to start out with.
I just feel like a lot of times people might get intimidated to make their room so grounded.
So like I can switch these on here are on a chain.
Yeah, the one's right above me.
So these aren't right to the side. So they'll kind of more.
Yeah, I mean, I
gradually
feel like
happen.
our studio is very antiquated, but it's
But you can control things, which is
It's-
nice.
it is, if you're ever doing studios, to have every light on light switches. We don't have control here, so we have to kind of unplug them or sometimes
Yeah.
put chains on them. And then this light right here is our older one from B&H, and that one right there is a newer one that Scott uses for his models on Sundays, but Scott said it's not as bright. And you can put these batteries on it, so it doesn't actually have to be completely plugged in. And I'll show you what the box looks like. I've showed this before, but just in case you didn't see that photo. And I think you just got these from like Amazon, right?
I can't remember.
Well, and you said that maybe this light was like $100.
It's $100, and it came with everything. So
It came with what?
the nice thing about this.
Oh, does it come with that stand?
No, this is one of our own stands.
Oh.
It didn't come with a stand, but you can put. At our studio, I have this mounted to a pole, so we have
Okay.
them above the model. This is charging the battery right now, and you can
Oh,
take
right.
these batteries out. Like when I have it mounted, I just use the plug.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you're charging it right on the light.
yeah. So the nice thing is when you switch this on, you can change the
Whoa.
you can change the intensity, and you can change.
Is this at 100%?
This right now is at 100%.
That seems pretty bright.
And I have it at 5,000 K. No, it's bright. It's just not as bright as this light.
Well, I just feel like this is so light. I just think that this one will be better to move around.
This is great because, like, if I take a model outside
Mm-hmm.
and I want to just add light into the face, I don't want it to get so dark and contrasty if it's in the sun. I can just use this as a fill light,
Mm-hmm.
or even if we're in the woods and stuff and there's kind of not much, I can just kind of put this up and I can just have some nice, a little bit of definition in the face. So this is a very handy, and since it's on batteries,
And you can tilt it so it doesn't have to be straight.
Right.
You can tilt it down a little bit.
and since it has batteries, I can just take this out
That's
in the
why I'm
woods.
saying it might
and I
be
don't need to have
easier
a
to
plug.
use that light instead
know.
of this one, which is kind of heavy.
We've got both, so this
Yeah.
this will be much brighter light. Like if we turn both these on here, we put them next to each
I
other.
think we should do a test.
Like look at them when they're
Is that at
next to each other.
100%?
Yeah, that's at 100%. So when you put them next to each other, go right from the straight, you'll see how much.
Scott, I'm going to tell you the one on the right looks brighter.
Not if you stand right in front, Sue. You'll see how much brighter that is.
Huh.
You see?
But I guess, okay, I don't want to be a devil's advocate, but like if we're doing portraits, do we really need something that is so bright that we're just going to have to temper down?
What you want, if you're painting the model, maybe you'd want to temper it down. When you're photographing, you want to have it brighter because
Okay.
that way then you can have
Better for the camera.
You can have a higher f-stop, you can have more speed, you're not going to
Okay.
get blurry images.
I'm just being lazy
So-
and I'm thinking I'm going to be the one moving the light around, so.
And if there's, well, we have both, and we have the softbox one too, which we can use as well.
Okay.
So these will give us more of a hard light. The softbox will be a wider light.
No, I
So,
want
yeah.
dramatic photos today. And today, since I'm not feeling 100%, I think today will just be, you know, this is the first time we're doing a photo shoot with Sabra, and you see how, like, I didn't even move all that stuff out of the way. Usually when we do a photo shoot, you know, you guys have seen me in the past where we use that light, and I'll have the model over here, and I'll move this all the way out of the way. But I'm just going to be focusing on portraits. And there's even smaller soft box lights now. Like you can go to B&H and get things that are smaller. We've had this one for a long time, but it works, so we still use it.
And the wider you have it, the wider you have the front, the softer it will be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have it coming from more of a small point or just that little box there, it'll give you a more defined, sharper edges.
Yeah.
It won't be as flattering on a model if they have wrinkles or any different things. So having different types of light, you'll use them in different ways on a
Yeah.
model, and you will even mix them together in different ways. So it's nice to have, in like Sue's studio, we have all these different options.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that today we'll see how much energy I have.
This is your photo shoot, so
No,
I'm just,
we told Sabra just to come.
I'm
She
just for
does
technical
funky kind of Burning Man type performances. So I said, bring stuff. We'll just play. I don't have a preconceived notion, and I'm usually telling people to have a preconceived layout, like an art direction. And today I don't, because I know she's stunning. I know she's photogenic, and I thought we'll just see what happens and not be so, I guess for me, not be so controlling about what outcome is.
you're almost treating it like a documentary type thing. Go out,
I'm treating
You
it like a
photograph.
documentary, sure.
and you
Okay.
never know what you're going to
No, that's it today, because we're not probably going to spend as long as we usually do too. That you're perfect the way you are. Come on.
I think I get used to the way I look. I figure I
Yeah.
look a little different.
Isn't that funny though how we forget what we look like? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I love your hair. I love the way you look. That's why we're like, yeah, we gotta do a photo shoot with her. I am not a camera professional, so it's mainly gonna be Scott. My job is like moving the lighting. And my job might be art directing a little bit where, like, once we have, like, this amazing, like, the lighting is just right and your face, like, sometimes when we get the best lighting, then we'll just have you stop. And sometimes we'll have you, like, look down, look up, look at us, and then we might just have you tilt your head up and down. It's so, it's very, you know, just, it's technical.
It sounds a lot like when I go through with body painting and getting
Right.
photographs. Because they want all the different paints and stuff.
Right, right.
Are you still testing it out?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll take pictures even when you guys are just talking,
Yeah.
because you get interesting things.
And that's
like
that's
those,
the
you
thing
know.
is that I know that's why it's like in the very beginning, and you're used to being looked at, but still, doesn't it take like a little bit of time to be like, someone's staring at me, am I doing it right?
Yes.
And that's why Scott will take photos, and that's why I talk to you so that you feel like disarmed. But also, once we get really good lighting, we'll show you some so that you go, oh, I do look excellent. Okay, like it is working, because I hate getting my photo taken and you're always thinking, is this right? Would you tell me, like, is this good? So, and then I was saying that for me, I take a few photos, but in general, I'll be the one, like, if we get something perfect, I might just, like, you know, it is sort of like tweaking. I might, like, move a hair, just down a little bit. Just trying to get the actual perfect, what do you need, Scott?
I'm gonna use this light instead.
Oh. So this is a softbox light, which means that it's more of a light that looks like it's coming from a window.
So like for silhouettes.
Yeah. Now, Scott, I do like.
Just a little softer.
Oh, I do like this harsher light, though.
Oh well, we can do this too.
Why don't we start off with this
All right, sounds
before
good.
we go to soft light?
Sure.
So harsher light harsher light will be like really dramatic, like theatrical. And I can also do it so that we have it coming from above too, because yeah.
That's cool. And then just go ahead and try your head in different tilts and things. Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's so cool.
Like move my hands.
Yeah. Just move your head and your hands. It's really great. Your poses are beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you're so unique in yourself, and the way you move is completely new to you. Or new to you. It's new to us.
Now, way off to your left. I'm gonna do a beautiful. Exposure looks good.
Yeah, see, that's cool. Because like you have a shadow on your face.
Go ahead and put your hand back against your forehead like that. It's so neat.
Because you could be like a really cool, like maybe charcoal, you know, it's hard for you to imagine, but like if we, doing like something that's just like black and white drawing where like it's a lot of mystery and you're just like coming out of the shadow. So that is, if you can visualize that.
What you're putting down, yeah.
I take what you're putting down.
This is Sharon, my friend's studio. I've done a studio tour of this before in an earlier video. It's a beautiful studio. She has a loft up there. And Scott is going to give a presentation today to a local art club. Here's our friend Donna. You saw Donna's studio down at the stairs.
Like a week, and we'll hire a cook, and then we'll go out and paint every day. And this is the daughter, actually, of the cook from this trip. So yeah.
You actually can hire a cook to come along with you?
We hire a cook to come with us because we paint all day.
Oh, cool.
And we've added it up. So with all the horses you hire, because it takes all your gear, your camping gear and everything, and the cook and all the food and meals, for about 7 days, it costs us about $125 a day per person. So it's really not that much different than staying in a hotel and going out to eat. You know? It's like, because you're in tents, you know? So with your cook, so they'll cook breakfast, dinner, and then just like a sandwich, the pattern. We'll paint in the morning, then we'll hike off to another lake, we'll paint all day, and eat our sandwich, and we'll come back. Then we'll have our dinner, we'll sit around and drink box wine, and then stumble into our tents. You have to have box wine because the glasses on the donkeys and stuff, anything that can break. This is from the Himla tribe in Africa. So this is soon I went to Africa, and she volunteered the year before and taught at a school in Tanzania. And while I was on one of those out west pack trips, and so we went to South Africa, then we went to Tanzania for several weeks, and this is in Namibia, and we just drove all around Namibia, and then we found this the Himba tribe. We hired a man who could speak the language, was from a related tribe, and we just drove out and found the Himba people, and then took a couple days photographing and sketching them and stuff. And then this is a painting I did from the photographs I took there. So yeah, so it's kind of fun, yeah. So that's more than enough, probably. Like I said, and you think, okay, that's great. And then they'll move and they'll take it here, take it there. I'll try it all different ways. And with digital now, you can do that, and I certainly do. I mean, probably this photo session, we probably took about 1,200 photographs of Bella. The one that we just did yesterday with Sabra, I mean, because she was doing ones where she was dancing and using these flags too, I think I took about 2,500 photographs of her in the 2 hours we did a photo session with her. I'll show you a few here. So that's the big tip, is just to take a lot of photographs, try and do different setups, different lighting, move yourself around. So this is one that I got, and then this one over here is what I adjusted it to. It might be harder to see on the computer screen what the differences are, but this one was just a little bit more kind of washed out, and the colors in the hair weren't quite as vibrant, and you can see the purple in the background too. It's just a little bit more vibrant. So a lot of these I'm not doing like major changes to, and then this is the painting that I did. So and then I didn't change too much in this particular one. I just added a lot more texture, you know, and playing with the color and the patterns and things. So this is a fairly straightforward one.
And what software are you using?
Using Photoshop. So I'm going to open up Photoshop now and show you a little bit about how I would adjust pictures. I wanted to flip through the pads and look at all of the drawings. They would point out how we got the jewelry and the simple ways you did it. And so yeah, it's just so fun to draw, you know, in your sketchbook and stuff. So yeah, I just love that. And this is the sketch that I did that painting of later.
Did you give any of your artwork to these?
We gave a couple of drawings. I gave a couple drawings to them and the Himba and stuff. You know, just, you know, not like my best ones, just ones so they could have. And they were both, in both cases, they were really appreciative of, you know, the gift. And these are out of my sketchbook, so they're about this big. And they would thank you so much, and then they would very carefully and you know, respectfully fold it up into a small little square, so they could put it in their little goatskin pouch. And then when other people would come by, you know, they would take it out and open it and show it. Little by little, you know, all the chocolates started to get a little bit, you know, more modern art like, you know. It was more about the thing. Again, they just have to carry all their stuff from place to place. They just have these little stick hut things, and they move their cattle. That's why we didn't know exactly where they would be when we went out there. But these sketches are just so fun to do, you know. And this is in Nepal. You see Kathmandu. What's the date? 2000. Oh yeah, 2001. We went just like a month after the World Trade Center, and it was like the plane was empty. We could see other things. And when we got up to the Himalayas, you know, everybody had canceled all their trips, so there were all these, you know, Sherpas and stuff hoping to get hired. We flew into Lukla, and so we just hired extra people, and you know, and then trekked out to you know, paint these different places and stuff.
So you said when you're on a trip like that, you just mostly do sketches and take photographs.
It depends on the place we go. So like when we're trekking, so we had like Cedar and we had Sherpas, and I think we had like nine of the Sherpas. The Cedar is just the head person on it. Looks like it's frozen up right now. And so everything goes in, and we had 2 yaks, and so all of our equipment and tents and stuff, and then they would take the yaks ahead as we were trekking along, you know, and you know, the Everest is there and everything, and so it's high altitude, so we just brought sketchbooks on that part. When we are in, I can't remember, I don't think we painted in Kathmandu either. So yeah, that trip was there was just too much to want to photograph and sketch, so we just sketched. Other trips, like we just went to France and sit down a workshop, we bring all our paints, everything. Anywhere in Europe, things like that, you can bring your paint, so it just depends. Okay.
It was fun. We had our model bring a hula hoop. Got a lot more people today, and so I had to rearrange the room. I'm kind of figuring out my poses today. Olivia, a great model. This is nice. Show me some of your other ones. Boy, it looks so abstract. If you didn't have a face on that,
Yeah, it's very.
it would. I mean,
These perspective ones are fun. You know?
yeah.
Probably not. They probably didn't, decide to go with me. Then they decide to,
I find I shy away from the face. Oh, look at that one. That's cool. I kind of like how you still see like the white strokes. You know what? It reminds me of like primitive.
I'm trying to make
People
them
with
more,
like who put actual white on their faces.
Yeah, I'm trying to make them more abstract.
That one's really beautiful.
We'll schedule you for another day.
That is like really beautiful. Okay, show me the other ones again. And so you just keep using that kind of General's chalks or new pastel and the white and the General's whites.
Oh, those are just our very first quick ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like that bending down one. Yeah. Cool.
These are what, 8 minutes here now? The one
Probably,
from 5
yeah.
to 8.
Really? We did didn't we do a 15 or a 12? We did some 12s.
Oh, okay, some of those must be 12.
Okay,
Those
yeah,
must
that's
be
beautiful.
12.
Yeah, do the other one on a separate, just in case it doesn't turn out.
Oh, I like grouping them together.
But what if it doesn't turn out?
You just wipe it out.
Separate. Because this is beautiful, you could just frame it all by itself.
Oh, okay.
That's what makes me nervous, like if you have another one that's odd.
I see.
That would be a beautiful.
Yeah.
Just
This was the last one, yeah.
This is the last one, and just for fun,
Oh, you elongated her
I
legs.
elongated everything. I elongated her neck, her torso, and her legs a lot.
Yeah.
Just playing.
No, I do. I kind of like how you are leaving the white strokes. It looks very painterly, and it does. It reminds me of just primitive or like tribal art in a way.
I'm trying to get more and more of that, of an abstractness to it, even though it's realistic. Trying to use these shapes to design them more and abstract them more. So.
Well, that's good. And this is my last one. It's so funny how different we are. My colors always come out so
Beautiful.
colors come out so strong on these phones. But I loved that
Look
pose.
close. I love your
No, I really loved the pose. I thought it was just such a romantic kind of like a waterhouse pose.
Yeah.
I didn't like every. Thank you, Delise.
Yes, it's very pretty.
I didn't like every drawing I did, but here's all of them. It's just the one where she was holding the hula hoop, and so I kind of liked that. And there's some other ones that you probably don't see, and pastels on the phone always come out just a little bit too contrasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's all right. It's fun. I'm trying to use up a lot of this paper that I probably wouldn't use for other things. So now we have to move the room back and hopefully talk to that teacher from last night and not have them leave everything out. But it was a great class today. I thought I would just let you watch my cat eat for a little bit. A friend of ours gave us some expensive kitty food, and Theo is very, very, very happy with this. Doesn't usually get to eat up on the table, but it's easier for me to photograph. Yummy, 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 yummy. Ooh, look at you, you're so sloppy. Yummy, yummy. Oh, you're just going nutso. Remember to chew. Don't just swallow. We're here to see a little
recital at Sika in Winston-Salem. It's a beautiful little theater. This is an old mansion that turned into an art museum that turned into, also has music. So I guess this lady is, I don't know if she was Miss America or Miss USA in 2019, but she's from Winston-Salem, so she's coming back to give a performance. So yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm kind of liking it. Okay. I tried on about 10 more dresses, nothing compared. I tried this on again and ended up winning Miss America in this dress. Next 3 pieces you'll hear are all songs that are really special to me because they have to do with my faith as a Christian. So this one is a hymn. I grew up singing a lot of hymns in church every Sunday. My parents would take us to Thursday night Bible study or prayer conference where we would sing hymns.
Thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos. I love it when people write me about them, and I have fun doing them, so I'm so glad that people are enjoying them. Please subscribe and follow me and Scott on our Instagram pages, our website, and also on our patreon.com/Susan Lyon.